morning everyone. Today we'll be discussing about the network architecture. What is network architecture? What does the things which are said to be covered in network architecture, that we will be learning. So starting we will be learning what is network architecture. Network architecture, it is nothing but a set of layers. You can see here what is network architecture is. It's nothing but a set of layers which are said to be built one after the other, which will be following the protocols. Nothing. Network architecture, what does it consist of? It consists of different layers, and those layers, they follow some of the protocols or the rules and regulations. That is said to be a network architecture. Mainly the network architecture, it depends on the physical and logical design of the network. Physical and logical design is nothing but, physically means what? You are said to be linked through a device, so that is said to be physically. And logically is nothing but, when you are said to be using the various applications, you are said to be writing some of the designs, you may be writing some of the software applications, those come under the logical design part. So you need a device. In that device you need the various applications which are there, those which applications link from one device to another device. So it is not directly, it is said to be getting connected through the wires, it may be connected through the applications which are there. So where mainly the importance is nothing but, it is given to your device whichever it is you are using, and the various applications which you are using in the network. Okay, so that is said to be a network architecture. Okay, in this network architecture, why it is said to be necessary to have the layers? Mainly why the layers are said to be present is to reduce the complexity. Mainly the network, it has many systems which are getting connected and many applications which are said to be getting connected. So in order to reduce that particular complexity from one network to another network, one device to another device, mainly a stack of layers are being introduced in the network architecture. Okay, each will be having their own application, they have to do some or the other work. So each layer, it does one or the other specific task, and what does it do is, it provides the task or provides the service to the other layer which is present over or below. Nothing but above or below, whichever layer is there, they will be providing the service to those layers. The concept mainly is what? It's nothing but providing a function. As you write a program, in that program you have multiple functions, so each function, it will be doing its own work. Okay, one function may be doing addition, one function may be doing multiplication, one may be adding, one may be doing the total, everything is being considered as various functions. So here also the whole program, it is said to be divided into multiple functions, or you can see whole network is divided into multiple layers. Okay, so that is the necessity. Why it is said to be necessary to introduce layers is to reduce the complexity and confusion between one network to another network. Okay, so in this layers, you can see here one structure is being given, how the layered architecture would be there. So layered architecture, you can see n number of layers are there, and they give service from one layer to another layer to another layer. They are said to be giving the what services to other layers, plus they are said to be following the rules and regulations. Okay, when I am passing the data from one layer to another layer, it should be following certain rules and regulations. What are the rules and regulations is, you are said to be covering the data from one end to another end, you are said to be passing the data from one end to another end, from one physical medium to another physical medium, from one system to another system. You are said to be passing the things and following the rules and regulations. That is said to be a layered approach. In this layered approach, as it says, when you are said to be getting communicated through different machines, those machines form the peers. Okay, so peers, one peer gets communicated to another peer, one network gets communicated to another network using the various protocols which are said to be designed. And actually the whole data is not said to be like actual one data, it is transferred to another layer to another layer to another layer to another layer. It's not like that. It is said to be only passing your data which is in the format of digital format. For example, it's ones and zeros which are being passed from one end to another end. It is not actually passing whatever data you are said to be sending from one end to another end. Okay, and main thing in the network, when it is said to be designed, it is said to be like having all the data which has being passed in the formats of ones and zeros, plus even it should be having the control information. I can't pass whole data at a time, it will be having a control. What does the control mean is, we have to send the data in splitted form, one after the other, one after the other. It shouldn't be done at a time, all the things. It should be passed slowly in a certain format. Though it happens in fraction of seconds, but it passes the data in a slower manner from one layer to another layer. Main aspect in your whole network aspect is your physical layer, which is the most important one, which is said to be sending the data. Whichever device you are said to be using, that becomes the most important one while you are said to be transmitting the data. Other things, other layers come afterwards, but in the beginning it will be your physical medium which helps you out in transmitting the data. Okay, so remember, in the layered approach you have the peers, you have mainly the data which is being transferred. It is not the whole data, it is nothing but your ones and zeros which are said to be passed, and it will be having the control over the information. How you are passing through the physical. Okay, that is said to be your layered approach. And in this network concept you have the various design issues within the layers. Okay, design issues is nothing but addressing is the most important. For example, if you are writing a letter, you write the address. Without address it will not reach to the destination. Okay, and your address is also important. So here also, when you are said to be passing the data information, it should be corresponding with your particular addressing format. It will not be in your whole address how you write for the letter. It is nothing but address. It will be in the format of, it may be IP address 100 something like that. That addressing format it will be followed. And error control, when something happens in between the network, it should be having the error control. Whichever layers are there, it will be intimating to the previous layer. So that importance is being given. And even when the message is being passed, it should be seen that it will be following the order. Okay, though it may mix up. So your packet, one may execute first, the other may execute later, like that. Many things happen in the network. But at the end, it should be assembled properly, nothing but reassembling happens. So reassembling means what? However I have sent, the same order it should be accepted at the other end, not in a reverse order, something like that. Okay, and it should be, flow control is nothing but you shouldn't be sending the data very fast. It shouldn't be happening. It will be in the slower format. It will be sending the data from one end to another end. Mainly it happens with the disassembling, then transmitting, then reassembling your particular messages. It will happen. Multiplexing and demultiplexing is nothing but I have sent, I'll be sending, or multiple people are said to be sending the information, so they don't have different physical mediums. They'll be having a single physical medium. It may be a wired medium through which you are sending the data, but the other end, single medium, when it is said to be like demultiplex, means what? The single information or single line, it will transfer the data to multiple lines. That is said to be a multiplexing. Multiplexing is what? A multiple information made into one, whereas demultiplexing, one information it will be made into multiple. That is said to be your demultiplexing. And routing is the aspect, like whenever I am passing the data, it follows multiple routes. Okay, it has to reach to the destination. So destination is not only one. It will be having multiple destinations. In that, it will be having multiple routes also. If one route fails, it should be following the other route. So that important issues are there in the network, that you have having the addressing part, error controlling part, order of the message it has to follow, flow also should be controlled, assembling, disassembling happens in the information, multiplexing, demultiplexing, and routing happens in the network. So these are the various issues of the network. In this network concept, you should even learn about the concept of what is service. Service is nothing but when I am said to be giving the information, I am said to be transferring the data, everything happens whichever network you follow. For example, you may be using the Vodafone, Airtel, it may be Docomo, any of the networks. Main aspect is what? It should be providing the service. It's nothing but it should be providing the operation from one layer to another layer, whichever interface they may follow. But main aspect is sending the information from one end to another end, from one layer to another layer. And it will be following the various rules and regulations which we have governed from the beginning. We have learned anything you happen, whatever work you do, they have to follow certain rules and regulations when it is said to be sent. So whenever the data is being sent, the data it will be sent in the format of packets. So when it is being sent from one machine to another machine, certain rules and regulations which are said to be followed. Okay, and the rules and regulations or the services, it doesn't change from one person to another person. it will be common for all the people. No changes will happen to different aspects. Okay, remember that the service or the protocols which are being provided in the network for the people, it doesn't change to different people. It is said to be same. Only thing is that when you are using the data pack or whatever it is, one may be having a data pack which is of more and another may be of less, so that may differ, but services it will be same for the all the networking aspects. Okay, so service and protocols, as you have learned in the programming concept, what do you do is you create an object, and that object, what operations are being performed on the object, you will be governing that, and how the objects are said to be performing in the whole function, and how they are said to be defining it, everything you will be learning. So that concept, it is followed in the service and in the protocols also. Okay, how the service is being meant from one end to another end, whole object, your data, how does it work all over the network, that is being covered. And in this layered architecture, you will be learning one of the concept called as OSI model. Okay, OSI model and TCP/IP model. So OSI model is nothing but it is said to be having 7 layers. Okay, mainly remember that it is said to be having the 7 layers from bottom to up. It will be having, so whatever it is, either bottom to up and top to bottom, like that aspect is there. In the beginning you have the physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer and application layer. All these layers which we will be learning in the next session one by one. So main aspect is from the beginning is your physical layer, how your data gets transmitted over the line in the format of ones and zeros, and how the data links, how the link is being accepted by the data that is being there in the network, how it follows the network, what type of facilities are being provided in the network, that is being done, and how they are transported, either it may be wired or wireless, that is there. And when it is transmitted, it has to be allotted for the data, the sessions. Okay, one session, one data will be transferred, another session, another data. And how the data is being presented, you need the software to make it the data to be presented, that is there in the presentation layer. And application, which OS you are using to get your data like accepted, that is in the application. Okay, these are the layers, and some meaning is there about this particular layers is nothing but you can say all people seem to need data processing. So processing happens like this, and main aspect processing happens like that. All people seem to need data processing, and please do not tell the secret password anytime, like bottom to up and top to bottom approach it will be following. Whatever network things are there, it will be personalized. Everything you need not share with the other people. It's not a thing which is being shared, your network, nothing it is being shared. Only thing is that you are said to be, your data, it has to be secure. So security is being provided by various layers which are there, which are inbuilt layers. Okay, so main aspect it is there in the network format, which you will be learning in the future classes, how it works, what happens in each and every layer, that you will be learning in the future sessions. Okay, thank you.